I am remiss for the duty of my now grey Prussian blood, and for its blue loathsome utility, sitting in the pantheon of oak, with a silent citadel of cold wet stones, incarcerated in the cathedral of broken tree trunks, and amongst the congregation of snapped limbs. I sit in the cold, and with the bone-chilling mistake, and the wet winter. Feudal notions in my spirit do not arise. Dutiful notions have no bearing on action, on failure. I stare dismally into the grey, oppressive. I have not the standing to uphold the legacy of 1,000 lifetimes past. Choices chosen that I could have made. An iron statesman gasps, clutching his chest in the chilling wind, sitting in the reflection of the frozen river of time. I am remiss for the duty of my ancient Prussian blood, and for its cold and loathsome utility. I am sullen, longing for its resonance, sitting here in the pantheon of an oaken broadleaf forest, absized, cold and bare, and dead as the frozen earth, the silent citadel of cold grey moss-covered stones, on which to dash the skulls, moss now scarlet absorbing the iron stench, and steeping, all devoid of knowledge, all devoid of any merit. Their sacrifice, mindless, lacking meaning. There is no blood. There will be no blood. Grey. All is now a dull grey. The once proud uniforms of Prussian blue faded to aged, moth-eaten grey. Desolate and death-like silence, the red force of life blackens. Nothing living flows. No salvation in the distance upon the sinking ship's brow. All is still, all brightly quiet, towards an expiry of silence. Bone dry and blackened, not even the tongues of fire brave this dissidence. No warming thoughts, no kindness, no words make sense in this dissonance. No feelings, bleak and utter desperation, dark and dismal desolation. The stone cold lifeless, like everything left, a bone-chilling hypothermia, not even a memory. Nothing is to be learned in this fortress of unliving dolomite block. Eons are disreputable when we wear a cloak of indifference. The cold and grey pallor remind us of these spirits, feeling just melancholia and indifference. The noble ethics dead, Prussian virtues and rectitude seem now transparent, evil, vile, debased. I was drawn into isolation deep within these woods, the cold, unspoken keep of silence. It reminds one of the warmth it detains from me, with its depressing, overbearing embrace, the embrace that encompasses the eventuality of death, a death that signifies the curse of what an aimless life truly is. Alone even here, the goddess gone from her home. Sanitary the cold stone weeps. Indifferent and chilled condensation, unseen for ages, no reason to care, no empathetic eyes. Solitary, the cold stone weeps. Alone. What for and why? Silence. Bitter, stench-ridden silence. There is no light at dawn, just the birth of long grey shadows. Nothing but the wet chill of discomfort, and the dryness of an eternal thirst for comforted companionship. Nothing to breathe here, not one to take flight, among the sky too thin, devoid of all purpose, damned to wander empty, just cold discomfort, and failed utility and damnation. This wrought by a predominance of congealed blood, loathsome, this wretched existence too late of birth, unable to achieve even the battle-given wounds to heal, what its sole purpose was. This type of life instilled failure, all an exercise in everlasting failure. Failure of evolutionary design, gray obsolescence, into obscurity to be damned. Faded away, to be replaced by Darwin's favored, the sad song and pallid features serve no efficacy. Their form and its archetypal duty shall grace the earth no more. They represent fate, and just a shadow of this cruel mistress, an invisible pale hand of what was at once, present always, and forever now gone, blue, loathsome Prussian utility, sitting in the pantheon of oak, a silent citadel of cold, lifeless moss and stones. I dash my head in disbelief. No purpose in this life. I am now sullen and wallow, threshed from my body, my soul it sulks. The purpose for which it was wrought, devoid, removed from demarcation, taken away before its very birth.